Welcome, Stoics. In today's adventure, we will uncover the psychological tricks a woman uses to have you at her mercy whenever she wants. That's why I advise you to stay until the end of this journey, and I assure you that she will be the one begging for you. Without further ado, let's begin. The psychology of manipulation and seduction is a topic that has fascinated scholars and the general public alike for centuries. Understanding the psychological mechanisms underlying the techniques used to deceive others is crucial, not only for those who wish to protect themselves from such tactics, but also for those interested in the intricate workings of the human mind and interpersonal relationships. When analyzing how a woman might use certain strategies to deceive a man, it's important to consider a wide range of theories and approaches within psychology. This analysis extends beyond the techniques themselves, encompassing the cultural, social, and emotional contexts in which these interactions occur. Psychology is a vast discipline dedicated to the study of mental processes and human behavior. It encompasses multiple branches that focus on different aspects of the mind and behavior. From clinical psychology, which focuses on diagnosing and treating mental disorders, to social psychology, which explores how individuals are influenced by their social interactions, each branch provides valuable perspectives for understanding how and why people act in certain ways. Within psychology, the study of manipulation is particularly intriguing. Psychological manipulation involves influencing another person's behavior in a covert and often insidious manner. Although both men and women can use these techniques, this analysis will specifically focus on the methods some women might employ to deceive men. It is crucial to emphasize that this analysis does not intend to stigmatize women or suggest that all women use these tactics, but rather to understand how certain dynamics can develop in interpersonal relationships. Evolutionary psychology and the art of seduction. Evolutionary psychology offers a unique perspective on seduction and manipulation strategies. According to this branch of psychology, many human behaviors have roots in evolution and the need to survive and reproduce. Women, throughout evolutionary history, have developed certain behaviors and strategies that have allowed them to secure resources and protection for themselves and their offspring. Physical attraction and personal charm. Physical appearance has been a powerful tool in seduction since ancient times. Studies show that initial attraction can strongly influence men's decisions and behaviors. This phenomenon is rooted in evolution, where certain physical traits have been associated with health and fertility. Women can use their physical appearance to attract men, employing clothing, makeup, and specific gestures that highlight their most attractive attributes. Nonverbal communication. The use of nonverbal communication is another key strategy in seduction. Prolonged eye contact can create a sense of intimacy and connection, while coquettish smiles and suggestive body language can increase attractiveness. Movements such as leaning forward, lightly touching a man's arm during a conversation, and maintaining an open and receptive posture are techniques that can make a man feel special and desired. Evolutionary responses. Additionally, certain evolutionary responses can be triggered through specific behaviors. For example, displaying signs of vulnerability or need can activate protective instincts in men. These instincts, deeply rooted in human biology, can make a man feel the urge to protect and care for the woman, positioning her in a place of advantage and control. Social psychology and power dynamics. Social psychology focuses on how individuals are influenced by their interactions with others and by society at large. In the context of manipulation, it is important to consider how social norms and gender expectations can play a crucial role. Social norms and gender expectations. Cultural expectations about female behavior can be strategically used for manipulation. Women can present themselves as vulnerable or in need of protection, which can activate protective instincts in men. This dynamic can be manipulated to create a relationship where the man feels needed and valued, fostering emotional and psychological dependence. Use of sympathy and empathy. The ability to show empathy and sympathy is another powerful tool. By demonstrating a high level of understanding and emotional support, a woman can gain a man's trust and affection. This technique can be used to create a deep and personal connection, making the man feel understood and valued. This sense of connection can be exploited to influence the man's decisions and behaviors. Manipulation of traditional roles. Leveraging traditional gender roles also plays a significant role. In many cultures, women are seen as caregivers and supporters, while men are perceived as providers and protectors. These expectations can be manipulated to create a relationship where the woman subtly exerts control. By fostering the idea that the man must protect and provide, a woman can influence his financial, emotional, and social decisions. Cognitive psychology and persuasion techniques. Cognitive psychology studies internal mental processes such as thinking, memory, and perception. In terms of manipulation, understanding how people process information and make decisions is fundamental.
Persuasion technique.
A cognitive manipulation technique is the use of persuasion and influence. Women can use tactics such as flattery, sympathy, and creating a sense of reciprocity. For example, by doing a favor for a man or showing genuine interest in his hobbies and passions, a woman can create a feeling of indebtedness in him, making him feel obligated to reciprocate in some way. Creation of illusions. Cognitive manipulation can also involve the creation of illusions. This can include exaggerating achievements, presenting an idealized image of oneself, or hiding negative aspects. These illusions can make the man have a distorted perception of the woman, seeing her as more impressive or desirable than she actually is. Mind games and confusion. Mind games and the creation of confusion are other common tactics. By alternating between affectionate and distant behaviors, a woman can keep a man in a state of emotional uncertainty. This technique, known as intermittent reinforcement, is extremely effective for creating emotional addiction, as the unpredictability of affection can make the man strive harder to gain the woman's approval and affection. Clinical psychology and manipulative personalities. From the perspective of clinical psychology, it is important to consider personality traits that may predispose a woman to manipulate a man. Personality disorders, such as narcissistic personality disorder or borderline personality disorder, can include manipulative behaviors as part of their symptomatology. Narcissistic personality disorder. Narcissistic personality disorder is characterized by an excessive need for admiration and a lack of empathy for others. Women with this disorder may use manipulative tactics to maintain their self-esteem and obtain the admiration they desire. These tactics can include love bombing, where they overwhelm the victim with affection and attention at first, only to withdraw and create emotional dependence. They may also employ gaslighting, a technique where they make the other person doubt their own reality and judgment, thereby gaining control over their thoughts and emotions. Borderline personality disorder. Borderline personality disorder is characterized by emotional instability, chaotic interpersonal relationships, and a distorted self-image. Women with this disorder may alternate between idealizing and devaluing their partners, creating an emotional roller coaster that can be extremely manipulative. The combination of intense affection and rejection can leave the victim feeling emotionally drained and dependent on the woman's approval and affection. Other manipulative personalities. In addition to personality disorders, there are non-pathological personality traits that may predispose someone to use manipulative tactics. A lack of empathy, egocentrism, and a strong orientation toward personal achievement can lead to manipulative behaviors. These individuals may see others as means to achieve their own ends, using manipulation as a tool to get what they want. Manipulation and seduction are complex behaviors involving a mix of evolutionary, social, cognitive, and clinical factors. Understanding the psychological techniques a woman might use to deceive a man requires a multifaceted approach that considers the various motivations and contexts in which these behaviors occur. Although this analysis has focused on female strategies, it is crucial to recognize that manipulation is a bidirectional interaction and can be exercised by any gender. This knowledge can empower individuals to recognize and resist manipulation, fostering healthier and more authentic relationships based on mutual respect and open communication. It is essential for people to be aware of the signs of manipulation and develop skills to maintain healthy boundaries in their relationships. With a deep understanding of these dynamics, more balanced and satisfying interactions can be created, where respect and authenticity prevail over control and manipulation. The psychology of human relationships is a complex and multifaceted field that encompasses a wide variety of dynamics and behaviors. One of the most intriguing topics is why men allow women to manipulate them. This phenomenon can be explained from multiple perspectives within psychology, including evolutionary, social, cognitive, and clinical factors. Through an exhaustive analysis of these dimensions, we can gain a deeper understanding of the reasons behind this behavior. Manipulation in human relationships is an omnipresent phenomenon that manifests in various ways. Although both men and women can be manipulators and manipulated, this analysis will specifically focus on why men may be particularly susceptible to manipulation by women. To understand this dynamic, it is essential to explore a variety of factors that influence men's behavior and perception in the context of their relationships with women. Evolutionary factors. Evolutionary psychology offers an invaluable perspective on why men may be manipulated by women. Throughout evolutionary history, men and women have developed specific behaviors that have increased their chances of survival and reproduction. In this context, men have developed deep instincts of protection and provision, which manifest in their behavior in romantic relationships. These instincts can be exploited by women who know how to manipulate these innate impulses. From an evolutionary standpoint, men are programmed to protect and provide. This instinct has its roots in the need to ensure the survival of the partner and offspring. In ancient times, protection and provision were essential for survival, and these behaviors have carried over into modern relationships. Women can manipulate this instinct by showing vulnerability or a need for protection. By presenting themselves as someone who needs to be cared for, a woman can trigger a man's innate desire to protect and provide, making him more susceptible to manipulation. This behavior can be as subtle as asking for help with daily tasks or as significant as expressing emotional insecurities, creating a dynamic where the man feels needed and valued. Moreover, physical attraction plays a crucial role in mate selection. Men have been programmed to seek signs of fertility and health in women, which often translates into physical attractiveness. Women can use their appearance to attract and maintain a man's attention, which can lead him to let down his guard and become more vulnerable to manipulation. Physical attraction can cloud a man's judgment, causing him to overlook signs of manipulation in favor of maintaining a relationship with an attractive woman. This physical attraction is not limited to external appearance, but also includes flirtatious behaviors and gestures that can intensify a man's interest and desire to please the woman. Social factors. Social factors also play a significant role in men's susceptibility to manipulation by women. Cultural norms and gender expectations influence how men perceive their roles in relationships and how they respond to manipulative behaviors. In many cultures, men are socialized from a young age to be providers and protectors. These expectations can be exploited by women who manipulate men to obtain financial resources, emotional support, or security. Men may feel obligated to meet these expectations, even if it means sacrificing their own well-being. Gender norms and traditional roles can predispose men to behave in ways that make them more susceptible to manipulation. Society often imposes specific roles on men and women, and these expectations can be manipulated for personal gain. For example, the social pressure to be the provider can lead a man to work longer hours or make impulsive financial decisions in an attempt to meet his perceived partner's demands. This dynamic can be exploited by a woman who knows how to manipulate cultural expectations and gender roles to her advantage. Additionally, social pressure to be in a relationship and meet certain standards of personal and professional success can also influence men's susceptibility to manipulation. Men may fear the social stigma associated with being single or failing in a relationship, which can lead them to tolerate manipulative behaviors to avoid judgment from others. The idealization of romantic relationships in the media and popular culture can make men have unrealistic expectations, making them more vulnerable to manipulation in their pursuit of the perfect partner. This romantic ideal, perpetuated by movies, books, and other media, can create additional pressure for men to stay in unsatisfactory relationships, hoping to achieve that unattainable ideal. Cognitive factors. From the perspective of cognitive psychology, it is important to understand how men process information and make decisions in their relationships. Manipulative techniques can exploit certain cognitive biases and thought patterns, which can make men more vulnerable to manipulation. One of the most common cognitive biases that can influence men's susceptibility to manipulation is confirmation bias. Confirmation bias is the tendency to seek out and give more weight to information that confirms our pre-existing beliefs and expectations, while ignoring or minimizing information that contradicts them. In the context of relationships, men may seek evidence that confirms their partner is loving and loyal, overlooking signs of manipulation. This bias can be exploited by a woman who presents an image of herself that aligns with a man's expectations while hiding her true intentions. Moreover, emotional dependence can be a powerful factor in men's susceptibility to manipulation. Techniques such as intermittent reinforcement, where affectionate behavior and attachment are alternated unpredictably, can create a strong emotional addiction. This technique, which is very effective in creating intense emotional bonds, can make a man constantly strive to gain the woman's approval and affection, ignoring or justifying her manipulative behaviors. The emotional uncertainty created by intermittent reinforcement can keep the man in a constant state of anxiety and desire for validation, making him easier to manipulate. The illusion of control is another cognitive factor that can influence men's susceptibility to manipulation. The illusion of control is the erroneous belief that one can influence events that are actually beyond their control. In a relationship, a man may believe that he can change or improve his manipulative partner through his love and effort. This illusion can lead men to stay in harmful relationships, thinking that their dedication will eventually result in a healthy and balanced relationship. This belief can be exploited by a woman who uses manipulation tactics to keep the man hopeful and committed, despite evidence to the contrary. Emotional and psychological factors. Emotional and psychological factors also play a crucial role in men's susceptibility to manipulation. Self-esteem, fear of abandonment, and the need for validation can influence the power dynamics in a relationship, making men more vulnerable to manipulative tactics. Low self-esteem is a significant emotional factor that can make men more susceptible to manipulation. Men with low self-esteem may constantly seek validation and recognition from others, and a manipulative woman can take advantage of this need by providing praise and affection intermittently. This strategy can keep the man in a state of emotional dependence, always seeking the woman's approval and affection. Low self-esteem can make a man feel unworthy of a healthy relationship, leading him to tolerate manipulative behaviors instead of seeking a partner who respects and values him. Additionally, men with low self-esteem may internalize criticism and devalue themselves further, perpetuating a cycle of manipulation and emotional dependence. The fear of abandonment is another emotional factor that can make men vulnerable to manipulation. This fear can have roots in past experiences of rejection or abandonment, leading a man to cling to a relationship at all costs. A manipulative woman can exploit this fear by insinuating or threatening to leave the relationship, using this tactic to control and dominate the man. The fear of abandonment can make a man tolerate abusive or manipulative behaviors out of fear of being alone. This dynamic can be especially powerful if the man has experienced a significant loss in the past, making the fear of losing his current partner even more intense. The need for validation and external approval can significantly influence a man's behavior in a relationship. Men who depend on external validation can be easily manipulated by a woman who provides this validation selectively. By alternating between praise and criticism, a manipulative woman can keep the man in a state of uncertainty and anxiety, always striving to gain her approval and affection. This tactic can be especially effective if the man has a history of insecurities or lack of self-assertion, making him more prone to seeking validation from his partner to feel valuable and appreciated. Manipulation in human relationships is a complex phenomenon that involves a combination of evolutionary, social, cognitive, and emotional factors. Understanding why men allow women to manipulate them requires a multidimensional approach that considers the various motivations and contexts in which these behaviors occur. Susceptibility to manipulation is not an inherent weakness, but the result of an interaction of multiple factors that can be exploited in a relationship. This knowledge can empower men to recognize and resist manipulation, fostering healthier and more authentic relationships based on mutual respect and open communication. It is essential for men to be aware of the signs of manipulation and develop skills to maintain healthy boundaries in their relationships. With a deep understanding of these dynamics, more balanced and satisfying interactions can be created, where respect and authenticity prevail over control and manipulation. All right, Stoics, we're nearing the end of today's adventure. I hope this talk has been of great help to you. Remember to leave a comment below letting me know what you thought of today's talk, and you'll get my like and a personal response. Also, don't forget to subscribe if you want more content like this. See you next time.